Why is Tom Wills an Australian legend? Same reason as Burke and Wills, same reason as the boys at Gallipoli, same reason as Ned Kelly. Because he represents an aspect of Australian experience at its most vivid and intense. And the power of his story is not diminished after 130 years.
Tom Wills was the most important person by far in the origins of Australian rules football. Horatio Wills kept a diary, and the diary is the most wonderful document. In it, he talks about his hopes for his son, what he wants his son to become. At times it's bombastic and autocratic, but it was also filled with a great deal of love for this young boy. He wanted his son to become a man of significance, to shape the colony. And almost everything Horatio wrote and talked about with respect to Tom was to this end. And you have to understand that to understand the whole Tom Wills story.
Gentlemen aren't born, Tom. They're made. And I'm determined to make you one of them. You'll be leaving this within the month.
Leaving where? Back to Melbourne?
You'll be sailing for England.
But...
Arrangements have been made for you to have a proper education.
Father...
It will be the making of you, young Tom. You're being transported in the opposite direction to your grandfather. Make the most of it, lad. Study hard and return to us a gentleman.
In his early teens, his father decided that it was time that his education was broadened. He should go away to school, and he took him off to England by boat in the mid-1800s and put him into the rugby school in England.
The 5 years he spent at rugby really set the template for everything else he did in sport for the remainder of his life.
As far as we know, he was not a particularly good student. Not that he didn't have the ability, but he was more interested in playing games. And he ultimately became captain of rugby and captain of cricket over there, and was a very, very popular figure.
At rugby, it is clear that that the games were war games. And if you read the accounts of rugby football in Tom Brown's school days, they're pretty brutal. And the players who are now called the forwards in rugby are called the heavy brigade, and the players who are now called the backs in rugby were called the light brigade. So it's a military metaphor.
It was brutal. It included hacking, which is kicking people in the shins.
So he experiences all that. And in 1855, Tom Wills is captain of the rugby first 11. That's the highest sporting honour.
My dear Tom, your letter containing the account of the games at rugby school came to hand yesterday, and, as with all letters from you, gave me considerable satisfaction. You still, however, continue to write with a scrawl that would make a writing master eat his nails.
One of the things that makes his life so large is that there are so many influences. There's Aboriginal culture, there's a dominant father, there's muscular Christianity, and then he has this year after he's finished knocking around England where he basically plays cricket. And he plays for Ireland and he plays for Kent. And he's written up in Bell's Sporting Magazine as one of the most promising young cricketers in England. So he's proved himself over there. And when Tommy was at rugby, the senior boys drank beer, so he was drinking from an early age. And by the time he gets back here, I reckon he's pretty set in his ways.